from Team Console of Fiends. I'm just releasing my very first video for our group. This is my very first deck profile from when I got the top 8 at the past 3v3 with my teammates of Bed and Isaiah. I was playing Dragon Link. I played, which was very spicy because not many. I was expecting a lot of Despios to be citing Abaladinus against me, but not many did. So I'm just very surprised. But here's my deck profile. I ended up going X1 as my personal record. Me and my teammates, we did very well. We fought very hard, and we ended up going 8th place. At least we were able to get in there. Here's my deck. 2 Absolrouter Dragon, very needed for the rocket. 2 Rocket Tracers. Usually, since I'm playing a very spicy engine in here, many people do play Splash in almost every deck, so obviously I want to play as many rockets, but this card is 60 because of all the other cards I'm playing. 1 Rocket Synchron, 1 Rocket Recharger. Recharger always comes up, you know, and then Rocket Synchron is never used for its normal summon effect, but when it does, it's always coming in clutch. 3 Black Metal. Black Metal is the main starter of the deck, since I'm not playing Safer. You'll probably find out why. And the 1 Red Ice Darkness Metal. Go to standard. Now I'm playing the Red Rose Dragon and the Rox Rose because they're just, even though he's at 1, it just helps gives extra extenders for the plays I want to make in the extra deck. 2 Nocto Visions. Nocto, even though I want to play it at 3, Nocto is just always still comes up whenever I draw it, and he's always good for when you do Pepega Ruler, so he's just always giving free pluses. The 3 Dragons, they come up. This one, they always come up with the Red Rose engine because that's just free extenders and free bodies for no reason to help me get into my synchros and my links, and the Levineer is just free pluses. My 2 bricks, Fairy Tail Snow and Chaos Valkyria. Fairy Tail Snow, you know, because I'm playing Shooting Riser, but Valkyria is also another extender for getting snow in the graveyard or getting any other card that I need in my graveyard. Because, for example, when I go, she works in tandem with these 3 and Chaos Valkyria. So when I banish her in the graveyard, she sends a light or dark monster from my deck to the graveyard, but they cannot activate their effects. So since I'm playing a spicy card in my side, this helps me get into that card on top of getting the snow in the grave. The Brave package. The 3 Enchantress and the Illegal Knight and the Griffin. Illegal Knight has been coming up as of late. It helps me when I'm already far ahead and where I can't play with my normal combo. At least Illegal Knight with the token, with the Griffin, is able to allow me to keep on playing. There was one time where I was able to play, where I put somebody under anti-spell, and it was a Despia player. So I just special summon Illegal Knight, and I just bounce their spells back to the hand. So now they won't even be able to play that turn, or even the next turn when they try to set the spells. My hand trap lineup is very weird, but I'll give a reason why. So the reason why I'm playing 2s of each is because, again, I don't have much space, but the thing is, the Gamma package is always coming up. This is for the Despia matchup, along with the Ash. Nibiru's for Sword Soul, and along with other decks. So the DD Crow is always going to come up against almost every matchup. So, and I just want to have enough names or enough targets for Chaos Ruler. And even though some of these are not light or dark, at least they're able to, if I draw them, I'm able to play with them. 3 Chaos Space, consistency cards, helps me get into my plays. Even searches Chaos Valkyria, which is kind of broken sometimes. 3 Quick Launch, kind of needed card, especially when I want to go into Hulk, my very first card as my Hulk. So I could start going into Baron and all the good jazz. My technically 4 bricks. Even though half of these are not as really called bricks, but Ravine, I rather search it off of Romulus and the Boot Sector off of Striker, along with the Draco back and the Faithful off of Right. But these always come up, always want to help me out and win my matches. 3 Right, kind of needed, along with the one Foolish. The Basil Rose Shoot to help with the Red Rose engine. 1 for 1 helps me get into either my Rocket Synchron or my Black Metal, depending on how my hand looks. If I could go with normal summon any monster to help go into my Needle Fiber combo, I'll summon a Rocket Synchron. But if I need extenders or a starter, I'll search the Black Metal so I can start with my plays. The 1 Warlexi Guard Dragon and 1 Talents. Warlexi Guard Dragon, it comes up because there's times where I go into Striker and then go into Hulk to start playing. So it helps me get into my Warlexi Guard Dragon. But Talents at a one-off, it just comes up here and there. I don't want to see it all the time, but I at least want to have it there just in case. The 1 called by, this card is Godly. 3 droplets. On top of having my hand traps, I need this board breaking card against Despia and against Sword Soul, because they put up very impressive boards. At least droplets are able to help me dodge Imperm and all these other cards, and even negate my opponent's monsters. And then 2 Imperm in the deck due to just playing and testing against Despia. There's a decent amount of times where you want to Imperm their their Lubellion or their Oliver, which is kind of needed, and even against Sword Soul, where it just comes up very often. Now, the Sky Striker token sometimes jips my opponent into thinking that I have strikers. Now my synchro lineup for my extra deck: Chaos Ruler, mandatory. Prolo Savage, along with the Heart Red, obviously mandatory, both of these. Shooting Riser to dump my Snow and my Spicy card in my side deck. 1 Baron. Baron is obviously the plus, because now instead of summoning all dragons, I get to only end on a Baron, which is a warrior, and on top of my end board, I would end on Appaloosa with Baron, and not many people are playing Mud Dragon, so Mud Dragon is not going to be relevant against this deck. And again, not many people are playing Albaledinus, so they're not going to be able to contact fuse my whole board if I end on a few dragons on top of the board. So I'll still have the Baron and the Appaloosa on board. Striker, Dragon, and Elp and Pisty, kind of mandatory. They help me keep on going with my plays. Romulus with the Heavenly Dragon of Heavenly Spears. These both are kind of necessary, especially to help me combo off through my deck. Needle Fiber and Dark. Needle Fiber helps me get into my whole shenanigans. Starts me off with most of my plays. Dark is just for any deck that plays. Most of them I'm playing against is against Despia Turbo, Despia decks, or even sometimes I take the Vershuda from the graveyard to keep on playing. IP to help go into my Appaloosa and help me to go into my sometimes Boral and Dragon if I need to. Boral Sword, due to there's other decks that could be like Tower Turbo. Boral Sword helps break boards, and on top of that, I'm mainly climbing up into breaking boards. So Boral Sword just helps most of the time. It's just gonna push my opponent in for game. Appaloosa, very needed card. Not many people could super poly it. And on top of that, it's just a negate. Sword Soul can't play through this. Despia most of the time cannot play through this. So, and even the mirror match. So, and Boral End Dragon, this card is bonkers. Has like 15 million effects. Cannot be destroyed by battle. Cannot be destroyed by card effects. Cannot be targeted by monster effects. Can attack all monsters your opponents control once each. Can negate a monster on the field. Speed swells 4 to special summon back a rocket from the graveyard. There's many times where I went into this, I negated my opponent's monsters, and I just targeted. I special summoned Tracer back, and I started comboing off into my Savage or Chaos Ruler to keep on playing. Now the side deck is extremely kind of spicy, just because there's this one card, a pointer. When I played in the 3v3, nobody expected a pointer. A pointer came up very clutch. There was one time where I drew, surprisingly, a pointer, anti-spell, D-barrier, right, and black metal. And I was looking at my hand, I was like, I had to either get rid of anti-spell or pointer, or the D-barrier, and I was like, I'd rather get rid of anti-spell because I was playing against Despia, and Despia, majority of the time, cannot really, they could still play somewhat. but a pointer could just look at my opponent's hand, take their most important card, and then I'll just have the Baron and the Appaloosa to deal with whatever they have. So there, I just discarded anti-spell to keep on playing. These cards are mainly for Despia and other matchups. These are all for Despia and Sword Soul, and then anti-spell would just be for any other deck that relies on spells along with the pointers. My back row hate will be Red Reboot, Twin Twisters, and the one Harpy's Feather Duster. I hate Eldritch. I hate other back row decks that are annoying like Eldritch and Flundry, so might as well just play these back row hate because it's kind of necessary. And then the spicy card, because Flundries does still exist, is Necro Banshee with the Zombie World. So going back to it, let me see if I can find it. Chaos Valkyria is able to send the Necro Banshee on my turn and then banish, and then on your turn, I'll banish the Necro Banshee to activate the Zombie World. Flundries cannot be able to play through this, so it's going to be very problematic for them. And there's other decks I could play against, like these decks that like the Sun Avalon deck, and even ABCs. Just stops their plays. Now there's one thing I do want to change. We'll probably take out the talents and probably play a third Ash, or probably play a second World Legacy Guard Dragon, because World Legacy Guard Dragon is an amazing extender, very needed, and and I wanted to see if I could at least test that out. Now my matchups throughout the whole tournament was Andres Torres. I beat him 2-1. Round 2, I beat another Despia player, and then round 3, I ended up losing against that Despia player from Luxury Gaming. Round 4, I played against Invokes. Round 5, which I beat. Round 5, I played against a Sword Soul. I beat that, but my teammates ended up losing it. It happens. You can't really win everything. Round 6, we ended up playing against a It was just a very wild event. I ended up beating a PK deck, and I ended up beating another deck. I forgot what the other deck was. But Dragon Link, like again, it caught people off guard because they were expecting like a lot of Despias. I was gonna play Despia for the tournament, but after the ban list, I just decided to play Dragon Link because that has a surprise factor, and not many people are gonna be expecting it. But I'll try to see if I could get the deck profile for my teammates. Hopefully, they'll be able to accept it. And thank you guys, and have a nice day.